Around this next circle here, I'm going to show you lots of different ways to embroider leaves, and we're going to start with a closed fly stitch, which is one of my favourite stitches. I use it a lot. What I've done is I've drawn with a blue pen just some random leaf shapes here with a little stem, and I've embroidered those lines in the split back stitch, which is the stitch we use for the dark brown here. Doing a split back stitch outline underneath the stitch for the leaves gives it a really good base. It can make the stitch neater, and it's a little bit elevated from the surface. So we're going to start with a straight stitch, so bring your thread up to the top of the leaf, just outside of your stitching, so the tip, and take it down one stitch just above halfway, I'd say, like that. So a single stitch, and then come up again on the outside of your split back stitch outline to the left of that stitch, just next to it, and then go down on the right. Don't pull your thread through yet. So you're going to make a loop and then come up at the bottom of that first stitch that you made through the loop and pull through. So you've made a little sort of arrowhead shape, and then take a stitch down into your fabric to anchor those stitches. And now come up on the left again on the outer edge, so outside your original outline stitch, the split back stitch, and down on the right, immediately next to those stitches that you've previously done, and then just below that stitch, and a little stitch down. I'll show left-handers in a minute on a different leaf. So take a stitch to the left outside of your split back stitch, to the right, make the loop, don't pull it through yet, come up through the loop, and then take a little stitch down to anchor it. And I don't know if you can see, but these little stitches are gradually making a lovely sort of knobbled effect of the centre vein of a leaf. So come up, so you're literally doing them close together, up on the left, down on the right, and then at the bottom next to the previous stitch and down. It's important to keep right up next to that stitch. If you go too far down, you'll find that your stitches become flat and it doesn't work as well. So next two, and this will probably be my last one. So my last one, I'm going to do just one more. So I've got the space, and then I'm going to put a little tiny one just in here. And my last stitch comes on the outside of my split back stitch, and then take a stitch down to anchor it. So I'm going to show left-handers now, so let's use this leaf, and I also want to show you some of my work that I've included fly stitch in, so don't go away. So take a stitch down, should be using my left hand, shouldn't I? About just under halfway, and then instead of coming up to the left, you will come up to the right of that stitch and then go down on the left. And come through the loop at the bottom of that stitch and pull through. and then take a stitch down to anchor it. I'll do it once more. Come up on the right, and then go down on the left, right next to those previous stitches. Come up at the bottom of that stitch, take it through the loop and anchor it down, and then you can finish off the leaf in the same way as we did with the previous one. Now this is under glass. These are my dragonflies that's done in stump work, so there might be a bit of a reflection, but I wanted you to see the background where I've used the fly stitch in an actual embroidery. So these are the fly stitch leaves. The stems here are done in stem stitch, which we'll come to later, but you can see that it works really well. I think the thing with this stitch for leaves is don't do your leaves too big, otherwise you tend to get your angles wrong and they go out of shape. So they work well with really small leaves.